Visit America, the don'ts of visiting the USA. And I've been planning to go to the US this year or next year probably. So let's figure out how I can keep safe of, getting shot. Jokes aside,
Hey there,
I love
travelers.
America.
Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're in Mystic, Connecticut, in a beautiful place here in the U.S.
Nice.
And today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting the U.S. because anywhere you go in the world, there's things you should do, but there's also things you shouldn't do. And this video is going to just cover the U.S. in general, okay? And our first don't for when you visit the U.S. is don't touch the Americans. Look,
Wait,
Americans really like their personal space. It's like they have...
You shouldn't be touching anybody regardless. Doesn't matter in which fucking country you are, okay? It's just a basic normal societal rule. Even gym trainers ask you for permission before they touch you, on your back, on your shoulders to like adjust you for the exercise. I don't know, man. This is weird.
A bubble around them, and if you get too close to them, they feel very, 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 very uncomfortable, okay? So make sure you give them a
Even as an animal from Eastern Europe, even I felt uncomfortable there.
distance when you are there, because I know when I go to Italy and Spain and stuff, people are like, Mark, how's it going, all this stuff, and my American friends sometimes go, wow, they're really, really affectionate. Like, that's just how it is. Here, space is key. The second don't I have for you is
that's between
don't
friends.
count on public transportation. Look, when we were in China and we were throughout Europe and South America, we took buses and trains and planes
I
and
know
all
about
kinds of
this.
stuff to get all over the place because public transport is really developed. Here in the U.S., you cannot count on public transport to get you a lot of places. Yes, in big cities like New York and Chicago.
Well, it's it's not in all big cities. Like from what I've seen, and I know a lot about American culture. I fucking love it as somebody who's from Eastern Europe and really wants to be there. But I would love to visit and maybe live in the U.S. one day. But still, I know that maybe Chicago, maybe New York. But New York, I know, who has one of the best public transport systems in the world, especially the metro. But most big cities, it's not that good. And my friend in the U.S., he's in L.A. He's told me, the metro, the buses, not reliable, especially for the whole metro area of LA, the whole county and stuff, not reliable.
Like that, you can get around for the public transport and it'll take you where you want to go. But a lot of towns, small towns especially, in middle-sized cities, the public transportation networks are
just
not
buy
very
a fucking
good. And
e-bike.
at night, sometimes it's not
That's
very
what I
safe.
do.
So that is kind of a frustrating thing. So yes, you're going to probably have to rent a car when you come here, okay?
Yeah.
So just have a heads up for that. And that kind of leads into the next don't I have for you is don't underestimate the size of the U.S. The United States...
No, I know. The continental U.S. alone is probably as big or maybe even bigger than all of Europe, right? And me living in a country that's like 5,000 times or maybe more smaller than the U.S. I know, man,
US
I know.
is like continental Europe. It's huge. I mean, would you think of driving from, I'm going to go from Lisbon to Paris and then go up to Tallinn and then head down to Sofia? No, you're like, that is insanely far. It's the same thing when you come to the U.S.
Yep.
I meet a lot of travelers that are like, I'm going to fly into New York, grab a car, drive down to Miami to see Miami Beach, and then head over to L.A. I'm like, dude, you got 2 weeks? You're going to spend the entire time in cars. The distances here are insane.
I've heard that something like people in the U.S. spend like a fourth or a third of their lives driving a car. Was it like that? Something like, imagine if it's like a fourth of your lives spending in your car and a third of your lives is spent sleeping, like for all of us. That shit is insane. Okay, never mind then. So key features are around 1.7 hours, yearly over 293 hours, lifetime 37, almost 38,000 hours, and roughly 2 years of a person's life. Okay, it's not that big of a percentage, but it's still fucking a lot. Okay, in 2 years you can visit almost the whole world.
Time in cars. The distances here are insane. So what I recommend is picking a region. So, we're going to stay here in New England and see New England. Or we're going to go in the Southeast, go to Atlanta and Savannah and Charleston, things like that. Or visit the West Coast.
Yeah.
You do that to get a better idea of the culture there and things like that. But also, it's just the logistics things because it's so far between the places. And to go along with that, for Americans, a 3 to 4 hour drive, that's a day trip. Like my parents live 3 hours away. I will literally get up, go drive, have lunch with my mom.
in a lot of small or medium-sized countries for Europe, that is, not for the world, 3 to 4 hours, you're basically driving through the whole country. Like if you drive 3 to 4 hours in my country, in North Macedonia, You're gonna go you're gonna pass the border and you're gonna go to the different fucking country.
And then drive back home just for lunch. 6 hours in the car. No big deal. It's about 7 hours we start to think, that kind of is a long drive. And we drive the entire way through.
Yeah, that's
okay,
one
this
thing
isn't like,
I don't
I
really
must
like.
stop every 2 hours and have a 15-minute break. Oh, no. No. We drive all the way through, okay?
Yeah, fuck
now, my
brakes.
next
Brakes
note
are for
you when you
pussies.
come
I
here
don't
is,
think it breaks either.
Don't think that the sticker price is the end price. Look, in the U.S. we have sales tax. I know other countries they have VAT, value-added taxes.
Okay.
They're already put into the price of products. So when you see, it's $1 or €1, I only pay €1. In the U.S. it is not like that. We have sales tax, so a certain percentage.
Why doesn't the price already include the sales tax? Am I dumb?
Added onto that product. And the thing is, I cannot tell you what the sales tax will be where you're going to travel because it's different everywhere. Cities, states, counties, different products have different sales taxes. And some products don't have sales taxes. Some cities don't have sales taxes. Some have 10% sales tax. It can be different anywhere you go. So if you're gonna go get your dollar menu item at a McDonald's or a Culver's or a wherever, it's not gonna be $1. Where I live, there's 2 cities right by where I live. One, it's gonna be $1.08. The other one, it's gonna be $1.09. So be ready for that. And it's not just the sales tax. Also, there could be the tipping on top. And that leads us into the 5th don't, and that is...
So do I have a sale? Let's say I go to a grocery store, right? And I buy $100 worth of groceries, right? Will I get 1 point something dollars, or what, depending what the sales tax is on that city and that county, right? Will I get $1.5, let's say, for those $100, so it'll be $101.5, or will it be $1.5 for every product? So let's say I have 10 products worth of $10, right? So it'll be like 1.5 times 10. And that's gonna be the sales tax. How does there's no way it works like the second way that I just explained. There's no fucking way. I did not know about this.
To tip. Look, in the U.S., you tip 15
Yeah, I
to
know about this.
20%
It's crazy.
at a sit-down restaurant, okay? Now, McDonald's, stuff like that, no, you don't tip at a fast food place.
Yeah.
But if it's a sit-down restaurant where they bring you your food and stuff like that, you will tip them 15 to 20%. If you are in a group of 6 people or more, sometimes they automatically put the gratuity on there.
Yeah, as somebody who's from a very poor country, and trust me, I'm not that rich to just pay people extra money, especially waiters and stuff. 20 to 15 to whatever percent. I mean, hey, if I'm in a group and we can, gather some money, sure, but it's not that deep here in Europe, especially where I am. But I know in the U.S., like, people have gotten in fucking fights over this.
Sometimes it be 18% or something like that. Look, when you come to the
I
U.S.,
think employers
there's a
should pay
reason
them
why
more
the food is like so affordable.
than just rely on
it's cheap to go out and eat in the U.S.
extra fucking
It's because there's
money.
kind of this understanding that the service fees and paying for the workers and the waitresses and stuff like that, that goes on to you, the person eating there, with the tips. So the food and stuff can be cheaper when you go out to eat. And I know a lot of people say, I don't believe in tipping,
That's
and that
crazy.
tipping isn't the right thing. They should pay their people more. Well, if you want to pay more for your food, they can do that. But they don't, okay? So tipping is something we do here in the U.S., so do tip that 15 to 20%. Oh,
Yeah.
also, if you're at a bar and you're buying drinks...
Well, like, I know most of my audience that I've gained so far are like 50 to 60% of them are from the U.S. So if anybody watching this who's from the U.S., please tell me, will I get in trouble if I don't just tip because I don't really have a lot of money and I'll be a budget traveler when I come to the US eventually one day? Maybe I'll be a rich fucking content creator, probably not. I don't think I'll have the money for
I
it.
want to tip a couple dollars here and there. Otherwise, the bartender might not be too quick to come back and get you your next drink. So falling off of those tips, what you need to realize is our next don't is don't be freaked out by the over-the-top service and free stuff you sometimes get in the U.S.
Oh,
Look, because
I
of
know about
tipping and
this.
commissions and stuff like that, yes, there is a lot of over-the-top service here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in the U.S., the people actually are pretty nice and they want to help people. And sometimes for some
A
travelers,
lot of people
they
have
come from
told me people in bigger cities are not nice. People in like New York, Houston, Miami, fucking LA, San Francisco, Chicago, a lot of them are not so nice. But when you go to smaller, medium towns and cities, or even villages, people tend to be nicer. And I think that's a wider, more known phenomenon in the Western world. Europe and the US, even Australia, right? People in richer, bigger cities tend to be more reserved and less extroverted, I guess.
Countries where people
I don't know. That's
don't
what
get
I've
a lot
heard
of
and that's
service
what I've
sometimes,
seen.
it can be a bit much, so don't freak out about it. Also with that is don't be freaked out with some of the free stuff you get when you go to restaurants. Look, if you go to a restaurant,
gonna get
they bring you
scammed from the
bread
free
and
stuff?
water, or chips and salsa and all those really good things.
Okay.
That's included in your meal. Okay, so if you're going to be buying something, they're going to give you some free stuff. It might be some bread, it might be a salad, it might be a water, it might be something like that. So don't be like shocked when like, wait, I didn't order this bread, I didn't order this salad. Oh no, that comes with your meal. Okay?
Now it makes sense. They are doing all of this extra shit, you know, giving you an extra salad, extra bread, and so on, right? Water, I mean, water should never be paid, especially if it's from the sink, right? If it's a bottle, then yeah, sure. But then I guess that's why you feel, you know, less bad for, yeah, like, you know, tipping 15 to 20%. But what if you like you have a huge fucking bill? I don't know. It's a $500 bill in a fancy restaurant. Maybe less. I don't fucking know. Maybe more. And they just brought you a few more salads. I mean, how many more salads can they bring you for fuck's sake? And breads, right? And bread fillets, whatever. And you're gonna tip 15 to 20% on that $500 just on like some bread and some salad or some sauce? Hell no! I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Listen, if I was fucking Mr. Beast or Penguin Z or Charlie, right, I would pay. Okay, I would just you know, just to help out the waiter. In my situation,
now the thing is, though, you can't just go in and get chips and salsa and walk out. All right, you actually have to order some food when you go there. Now my next don't for you is don't smoke cigarettes in the U.S. If you're smoking cigarettes in the U.S., people will look at you like you're trying to kill their baby. Cigarettes is like totally verboten. Like people really frown upon it, which is funny because when they talk about marijuana and stuff like that, people don't seem to care as much. But cigarettes. Oh,
I hate marijuana and cigarettes. I hate both of them. And Eastern Europe, especially where I am in the Balkans, there's a huge cigarette culture. More than half of the population smokes cigarettes, and it's very hard to escape. You can't go outside in the fucking park or in a cafe and just enjoy yourself with your girl or with your friends or your family and have some, you know, some tea or some drinks or whatever, because there's gonna be tons of people just leaving tons of smoke from the cigarette in your fucking face, and nobody gives a fuck. Like, that's a social norm here. I fucking hate it so much. Like, nobody gives a fuck about the non-smokers.
To kill my baby with that cigarette 2 blocks away. So if you do smoke, make sure you try to find a place where you can smoke, because a lot of restaurants, pretty much all restaurants, hotels, stuff like that have smoke-free. It's smoke-free, so you got to go like 15 to 20 feet away from doing things, so that can be something. So I've come here outside my favorite liquor store to give you the next don't, and that is don't try to buy alcohol unless you're 21.
Yeah, I knew about
or
this.
Cigarettes unless you're 18 or over in the U.S. They will not sell them to you. And the thing is, don't forget your ID, because if you look like you're 40 or under, they may ask you for that.
I look like I'm 50, I'm fine.
Because if they don't ask, they could get in trouble and get fined. So don't.
And here's the dumb thing, like in the US in most like states, I know you can like drive and get a driver's license at like 16 something, or a driver's something like that, or a driver's approval something, right? Here in most of Europe, you can start driving at the age of 18, and you can just start drinking at the age of 18, which is stupid. And by the way, because law enforcement is trash and safety is like it's very low, especially where I live. In high school, when I was below 18, I was getting hammered, and when I turned 18, I already got bored from clubs and fucking alcohol. And plus, I don't really care about this 21 plus age to drink. I am not a fan of alcohol, and yeah.
Surprised, because we've had friends that have come
maybe
here,
drink once
try to buy alcohol, and they're like, sorry,
a year,
you
2
don't
years?
look old enough. Oh, I don't have my ID.
One beer.
Too bad. And the thing is, it's not just the person buying. They might ask anybody with you, so make sure everybody has their ID if they want to buy liquor, or they want to buy, well, they want to buy alcohol, or if they want to buy cigarettes. So just FYI on that one. Oh, that's also another don't I have for you is don't bother with a metric system when you come here. We don't use, we don't use meters. We don't use kilometers. We don't.
You guys use millimeters for, you know, guns and stuff. You guys use grams for food and stuff. You use some stuff from the metric system, but it's like maybe 10% of it. There's maybe a few more, but I forgot. But I know there's like 3 or 4 that you guys
liters.
use.
It is inches, feet, miles, gallons. Pounds,
I know inches,
things
feet.
like that.
I know
and I'll
gallons.
Put a conversion chart here to show you.
I know
but
pounds.
Honestly, you may say, hey, how far is it to this next town?
I actually didn't know about it.
It's like 60 miles. Like, what's that? just know 60 miles, it's about 100 kilometers.
Like the British have fucking stone. Like what? I'm a fucking rock now. Come on, man.
Okay, so just do that because the people here won't get it. I mean, I have people when I'll tell them, oh, it's 100 meters away. They're like 100 meters. It's like 100 yards. Oh, okay. So make sure you do know your imperial system, okay? Because metric,
Yeah.
we don't do that so much here.
Yeah.
So our next don't is when you do come to the U.S., there's a couple things you don't talk about, okay? One is gun control, and two is politics, because no matter where you are, you will get...
I am very in touch and very informed on a lot of U.S. politics and a lot of the shit that's happening, drama and so much, because I'm just interested and I am more integrated with... I am more in tune, and I feel more at home with U.S. and Western culture than I do with the Eastern culture that I live in. Hence why I made this channel, because, you know, it's kind of lonely sometimes, man. But yeah, I didn't know that as somebody who's not from the U.S., I just can't ask and talk about politics and stuff. I'm more of a centrist, but still, I want to ask and hear people out. Come
on either side of the spectrum, and they will have an argument with you. So it's best just to lay off those topics. Talk about the weather.
Is he saying I'm gonna die?
Nicer if it was sunny today and we could go sailing? Yes, that would be much better than discussing gun control or politics. Just putting that one out there for you right now.
Let's be honest. I'll most likely, probably discuss a lot about politics with my friends from the U.S. Sorry.
Now, my next note for you is don't assume that all the U.S. and all the Americans are the same. Because I know a lot of people say, you're a typical American. Well, it's like saying you're a typical European. Look, the U.S. has all kinds of different cultures, all kinds of different people, all kinds of different topography and scenery and stuff like that. And when you come here, don't assume it's all the same. You will see regional differences.
I mean, people in my country that are like fucking smaller than the smallest state in the U.S. What's like Rhode Island is the smallest state, right? Like we're as a country are smaller than Rhode Island, and there's still differences from people in the opposite side of the country. That's normal.
And how people treat each other, and how everything looks, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So don't just think there's just one kind of American. They're all fat, slobby guys with ponytails.
I mean, I know the percentages, like over half of the people in the U.S. are overweight or obese, but you know, as a gym guy, I'll probably be going to the gyms and I'll mostly be seeing fit guys.
There's actually a lot of skinny people in America too, not just fat guys like me.
Really?
My buddy Jeff.
He's not helping it, isn't he? He's cool. I'm not here to bash him. He's cool.
It's all the same, all right? So do go out and explore, and that's why I always say is if you're going to come to the U.S., go and explore different regions because you'll get a really different feel.
I really want to.
Because going to the southeast and seeing the plantation homes and
going
to see the southern towns down there versus going to the northwest and Seattle and Portland or going to San Francisco or going to the Midwest with Chicago and Milwaukee, you're going to have a very different feel. Which is
I wish I had the money and time to do it, man. I would fucking do it. I would see more of the U.S. than the average American has seen. If I could.
Wow, the U.S. does have a lot of different cultures within it, a lot of different feelings when you go around here.
Yeah.
And following on with that, I guess I would say another don't assume there's no culture in the U.S. because there are a lot of cultural centers out there. If you go down to New Orleans, you see a very rich culture there. You go to New York or Boston, here in New England.
I mean, I know people know when it comes to human history, there still is, but there's not as much known about human history in the U.S. Like most of history is people starting from, you know, the Middle Ages when people from the Europe coming. I don't know that much about history, but I know there's way more history from like people that have been there even before, like actual nationals, like the Indians and stuff. But it's like, I really don't give a fuck that much about history, man. I don't give a fuck.
Distinct culture.
I just know about George Washington
Chicago,
being the first
Milwaukee.
fucking
You go
president.
to the West Coast. I mean, there's a lot of different culture here. Historic culture with the Native Americans or more recent culture here. I mean, you have all that here you can really take in. And saying there's no culture in the U.S., it's not really true because there are all these different cultural...
the biggest culture where I come from, the biggest culture that people know about the U.S. is how much media we consume from there, how much should we know because of that, how much in the tech sector and almost every other sector they are dominating and affects a lot of us. Like my country wouldn't exist because of the U.S. historically.
With great museums.
That's
like
what we know more about. Not that much about
Getty
history,
in LA. There's all kinds of stuff you can see and do when you are here. For a cultural trip, it's not just seeing beautiful landscapes and seascapes like we are here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than that. Now, my next...
I'm not gonna lie. I'm more gonna come for the visiting the cities, the different types of people, the demographics, and just maybe cuisine and maybe just seeing a lot of the landscapes. History,
one that I kind of get a lot of questions
don't really care about that
about
much
video
about
on this,
history.
and that is, don't think that how are you or how's it going is actually a question. Look, when we say how's it going, how are you, these kind of things in the US, it's not a question, it's a statement. It's like saying hi.
Yeah.
Okay, just take it as a hi. Because a lot of people say,
I know this.
ask me how I'm doing. When I try to tell them how I'm feeling, they're like, well, I was just saying, how are you? Here, how are you is just hi. Think of it that way. It's like in France. Ça va? Ça va.
Oh shit, I'm in France. I haven't been in France. I don't know about France. Like, I know way less about France than I know about the US. That's all I know about France. And the Eiffel Tower and Napoleon.
Portuguese, tudo bem, everything good? You answer back, tudo bem, everything good. It's just, how are you? How are you? You move on, okay? So don't think it's an actual question, all right? Now, another don't I have for you is don't expect a lot at the fancy hotels. You know, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to pay more money for this hotel. No, I won't be going to fancy hotels. I'm probably going to get nicer stuff, like a nicer breakfast, better Wi-Fi. Oh, no, 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 no. For some reason in the U.S., it seems like the nicer the hotel, the more you have to pay for the things you think would be free, like Wi-Fi and breakfast. So don't feel like you have to stay at the fancy hotels, because honestly, if you're going to
you pay for breakfast in every single hotel you go. It's usually included with the price. At least that's how it is in Europe here. But it's like, I'm never gonna go to a fancy fucking hotel. I don't have the money for it, and I don't care. Well, I can sleep in a fucking tent in someone's yard if they allow me to, more than a fucking fancy hotel that might, you know, charge me for a million different stuff, and I'll pay more for like renting a car, and I might maybe sleep in the car as well. But I don't know. And visiting as much as possible.
You just need a couple beds, right? So stay at the hotel.
We are rough here from where we come from, you know? We're fucking animals.
Free breakfast, all these kind of things, which is really nice, so don't expect that from the fancy hotels.
I don't give a fuck.
Another don't I have for you is don't skip out on the local food. Look, we're here in New England. We're here in Connecticut.
No, I'm not a foodie, but I will try a lot of
stuff. And, oh my God, the New England clam chowder. Oh, my tummy is just like, more. It's fantastic.
The only thing I'm scared about, and he isn't mentioning it, because are the differences of the rules and the laws of what kinds of chemicals are allowed in the food in Europe and the food in the US. And it's Europe bans way more chemicals and other types of toxins and shit, where the US just allows them because it makes the food tastier and stuff, you know? It's, yeah, I don't know if I'll be just going to fast food joints all the time. Maybe in restaurants, some of them maybe, but mostly I'll be cooking at home.
South, man, southern fried chicken, mac and cheese, barbecue. Oh my God!
Oh, barbecue. Oh, he got me there. I'm a meat lover.
So don't just go to chain restaurants. When you go to your hotel, ask them, hey, what's some local restaurants around here? What's some locally owned and operated restaurants? So you can go there and check out those places, because they really give you a great experience. And I find a lot of times those ones actually have better service than the chain restaurants, because it's a mom and pop place where the owner is the ones helping you out. And that is really kind of a cool thing.
Nice.
Now, my next don't for you is don't get sick. Look. Healthcare in the U.S. is insanely
I know all this.
Expensive.
I thought he was going to say all the chemicals, but I know about the
just because you come from another country,
isn't Trump now planning to, you know, lower prices of when it comes to the medical stuff, and also maybe lower or abolish taxes? I don't know if it's like state taxes or federal taxes. I don't know how it is. Well, people can tell me in the comments, but that's very interesting, because you guys make more than enough money now. The country makes more than enough money now from tariffs and stuff. So maybe in the future you might have a more, you know, more cheaper and more affordable medical care.
They're not going to find you for the bill, all right? So if you're going to be coming here, make sure you get travel insurance or trip insurance. So in case you do get sick, or you do break an ankle, or you do break an arm, or something happens to you, your insurance will cover it. Now you might have to pay it first, and your insurance pays you back. But at least you'll get something back. Because
I don't know how many insurance companies for health, when it comes to, you know, where I come from, would want to cover medical bills in the U.S. Yeah, if I'm breaking a fucking leg, I'm gonna be traveling with a broken fucking leg, like the maniac I am.
Healthcare here in the U.S.
unless I become rich somehow by then.
Okay, so make sure you're prepared for that. And I guess my last don't I'm going to have for you is one that people actually got mad at me for when I lived in other countries, when I told them the U.S. has 50 states. And they said, no, the U.S. has 52 states. Look, don't think the U.S. has 52 states.
Like, I know all the U.S. states, and I can like mention all of the U.S. states and label them on the U.S. on the map better than most Americans. Like, if you guys want a video from that, I'll make a video on that if you guys want. I know my channel isn't really about that stuff, but I can, and I know a lot about the U.S. and like physical geography. And I think I even know most, like 90% of the territories as well. And I don't know where people get the 52. Maybe from like Puerto Rico, maybe from like Samoa, Virgin Islands. I don't fucking know.
The U.S. has 50 states.
Yeah.
Okay, just a heads up on that one.
Oh,
I'm sure that people are going to be commenting
Puerto Rico and Washington D.C. Right?
down below that when I was in school they told me 52.
What?
No, there's 48 on the mainland, and
Yeah.
then Alaska and Hawaii are 49 and 50.
Yeah.
All right. So those are our don'ts for visiting the U.S. What are some of the don'ts you have for the U.S.? Because I know there's more out there. I just want to get some of these out there to help out travelers heading to the U.S. just so we can get things going.
So I've heard a lot of like weird laws, like I don't know in which state it was, or in which city it was, or county, where you can't bring your donkey or cow in the bathtub because somebody did it. I don't know, maybe it was in Oklahoma or Texas or something, but it's like, I know there's a lot of weird, funny, like, laws in a lot of the states and counties and cities. But yeah, he said if we want to add something, I would add, and this is just me being a fitness guy, a gym guy, even though I'm, you know, a bit fat right now, is be careful of, you know, the average burger in your local joint here in in Europe is not the same amount of calories and does not have the same amount of toxic chemicals in the US. Plus, the US, as I've seen compared to my country, has way more options of healthy food in grocery stores. Way more. Like, we don't have extra lean beef here. We don't have like 0 calorie spray or 0 calorie like syrup. We don't have a lot of stuff, and it's much harder because we're fucking animals, as I said. But yeah, interesting video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments.